Alright, so it gives them that...
Beatrix.
Ooh, 2 hard pushes there. Okay, Paquito, potential hard split pusher. That's one. And of course, you have the Beatrix. He's very good at split pushing as well. We're going to see something new.
Debut of Blue.
Wow. Very, very annoying hero, I must say.
Yeah, it's annoying, but also in these team fights, he can be able to pull. He's allowed to pull people away. And more importantly, his slow effect actually works really, really well with Jushin to be able to kind of chase these targets down. The rifts work in the exact same way. So I think that Homeboys, they're designing this composition around slowing their opponents. And if they do find that initial pick, that's when Nets can press the Zaman Force and push forward.
Yeah, I mean, draft is both set. We have a lot of debut picks, very, very different kinds of draft coming out from both sides. Before you go, Gideon, is there any last words you want to say about this?
I think the way that Bigetron Beta is going to crack open this game is to shut down on that Nolan, right? So heavily investing into the EXP and pushing out that mid lane is going to be extremely key, because once you deny purple buffs, that means you can actually rotate across the map and look for the big plays.
Well, thank you, Gideon. Beats are pumping up. The heroes are ready. We're loading into the Land of Dawn. This is game number 2, potentially the last game for Homeboys. Actually, it's the last game for Group A.
It
Will
is.
Homeboys be able to take this away?
Oh man. And if Homeboys wins it 2-0 with the current score with NIP Flash, they will overtake NIP Flash. But anyway, let's check it out in game here. So as a start, looks like we're going to see aggressive gameplay by Homeboys. Straight up.
Whoa, actually.
First blood invasion by Homeboys.
Again, the power of the Juicin and the R-Lot coming to fruition right here. You got to pull back onto Sharuzi. Will be able to walk away. Doesn't want to use that flicker. In the last moment, he does, but no. Actually getting popped back just in the nick of time. Here comes Noxu just for that body block to keep him safe. But the Homeboys mid lane duo actually looking really, really strong.
Yeah, and not only that, just look at their XP laner as well. A Glue who's able to get inside of the jungle as well during his free time, that is, and opening up that extra space for Ima to farm, and that's exactly what they did. The bottom jungle has been cleared out.
Yeah, you can farm all you want, but what's the power of the Nolan coming into this game? Who can he pick off? He's an assassin anyway.
Okay, so picking off Valentina, I would say that is the first target there. If not the Beatrix, because the Beatrix can also keep a good distance, so it's either one of those. But if given a choice, I would say take out the utility hero first.
There's a lot of things we want to talk about right here. This is the first time in SPS we've seen the Beatrix and the Harith lane-to-lane matchup. Harith looks like he's getting a better time, but let's talk a little bit more about the Glue and the Paquito lane-to-lane matchup on the EXP side, especially since the first turtle is popping up in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the Glue is very, very sustainable on his own, right? So that is the whole point for him to be there, just to try to attract the members of Bigetron Beta towards him and opening up the space on the other sides of the map. As for Paquito, well, he needs that space to kind of pull off a split pushes. If not, if he, at some point, if he cannot find a split push, okay, he tries to go for the backline instead. And the backline that he might want to target is going to be targets like Udyr. But being a Zrushi, it's not going to be easy to just try to chase him down.
Actually, Sharuzi and Marzi is still not level 4. I don't think they want to contest for this one. Looks like a free and easy turtle for the side of Homeboys. They snap pick that up. And Bigetron Beta back on the defense. I don't know what went wrong right here. Down the EXP side, still level 3, even after the wave clear.
Yeah, and I guess that is also because of some help from Emo at the bottom. But speaking about help in the mid,
oh, mid side's forced to use the ulti to get out of the way. Yethri in a spot of bother right there, able to sustain out, but stuck underneath the turret. That is Yethri slain, but it's a nice little trade down on Marzi as well. Amal trying his best. Here comes Mal for the defense. That's the jungle, the Mal duo coming to shut down the EXP side. That's a huge lead over the side of Homeboys. 2k gold lead. Now, this is a 3-minute mark. Homeboys has this lead. Start the aggression going. Udyr already body blocking and trying to source for a lot of information down on Bigetron Beta's jungles.
And that's a good thing about having a Nolan, right? Like, your mobility is definitely up there. So that's how we can see the move.
Hold that thought, Nets. Oh, actually, Noxu misses that, but pops that flicker. Nets knocked up, stunned up, but the final slash out of nowhere. Mao actually makes a play. Amal, he's got his eyes on Pin. Pin will go down as well as Noxu. That's a double for Amal in the early side. Udil just being such an annoyance. Down at the purple side, here comes Mao, but Marzi rotating up, just trying to defend this. He's popping a retribution. No fight's gonna happen, but Homebois showing so much dominance in game number 2.
This is what you call, you got Jabeda, my friend. The Minoan Fury went in.
Jabeda.
Jabeda. I get it, Jabeda. Yeah. And the moment he went in with the Minoan Fury, then that's it. He has no escape mechanism. The other members of Homebois came and let's see if they can get more.
Actually, Marcy will go down right here. I saw Amal fast rotation from the top side to the bottom and just a snap. I don't know what car he's driving, but he's moving fast this time around.
Oh man, I would like to preview that car.
Yeah.
But that is what the power of Nolan is, right? Like, you can move fast across the map, and he will be able to join his other teammates. I don't know if Bigetron Beta wants to contest it.
Noxu has his ultimates, just waiting for the right time. No flicker right here. Minoan Fury lays down, but will not be able to complete that one. Marzi in the midst of battle won't be able to hit anything. Everyone of Homebois, they're still wide and healthy. Lynch will go down here, getting pulled up by the side of Homebois. They take down the turtle. They take down 2. Make that 3 members of the side of Bigetron Beta, and they're showing so much dominance. Oh man, you're 5k gold ahead if you're side of Homebois. Bigetron Beta really needs to step back and try to get that defense down. You don't want to lose too much economy, too much resources.
I mean, it's not only about the goal difference, right, during that turtle matchup. It is also about the level difference. Amal is already at level 10. Whereas for everyone from Bigetron Beta, the highest is Lynch with level 8. So the moment you show yourself, you'll be taken out. So it's not a worthwhile fight.
Hold that thought. It's a 3v2 situation. Actually, Lynch got that purple buff, so he's actually safe. Okay, you don't want to lose too much resources if you're Bigetron Beta at this point, but it's 4-0-2 Amal. That's a Nolan with so much kills right from the early game. Bigetron Beta, they need a little bit of time for Paquito to get his core items. No core items yet for this Paquito. He's actually so far behind this glue. He's died twice. Marzi needs to be able to find that stride, find the momentum to be able to come back into this game. Take a little itemizations. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, and now the Year 3 already has the dominance eyes. This gives him the license to stay behind the bottom turret. And with that, it makes it easy for him to take down the bottom turret as well. And with that dominance eyes, he can be the forefronter for Homebois to soak up the damage. And he'll be even happier if they were to target him.
I think that happened before, right? I think Geek Fam was hyper-focusing down on Marzi, knowing that he's the sort of like a weak link, so to speak. And Homebois, they're doubling down just the same. Lynch walks a little bit too far away from the tri-bush, but Amal pops in the retribution. He wants to go for it, but uses the fracture to just get out of the way. Homebois, they know that the turtle's coming up. They're playing a 4-1 composition. They're trying to split the waves, and that's the power of that glue as well. You might think that Pac-Man was the one that's actually trying to go for it, but Marzi getting caught in the middle, caught by 2, taking a lot of damage. He will go down, and that's a turtle over the side of Homebois. They might want to wait this out until that Lord comes out.
I see what Ness did there with the Salmon Force. He put the Salmon Force behind him, so Marzi cannot retreat back to the safer side. That is like, you know, thinking 2 steps ahead.
Oh man. Bigetron Beta playing checkers while Homebois playing chess. And speaking of which, Noxu again getting called out, pulled back twice in a row. Udil, the aggression coming up from this Jusin actually shuts him down once again. 0-4-0 for Noxu. There's no setups that he can take.
Dude, the goal difference is bigger than the timer right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8k, 9k versus 7 minutes, 8 minutes in the timer. I mean, this Homebois just pulling out the home run.
Actually, the Bandit's Rage as well, doing nothing over the side of Homebois. It's actually supposed to deal so much more damage. Oh, missing the orange buff. No, I spoke a little bit too soon. Lynch got that, but Mal gets caught in by the final slash. Here comes Lynch with the cleanup right here. This might be their shot. It's a Minoan Fury. Up by Noxu, yet 3, and a spot of bother. He jumps right back in. It's a 4v1. Make that 2. Udil pulls 2. Oh, Udil, he makes a play. He pulls back 2, and they take down 1 more.
Man, the only 2 kills so far that Bigetron Beta got is through Lynch. This guy is just time and time again putting in his resume and telling his boss that, you know, he gotta play.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a risky situation right now. Lord getting spawned up. Bigetron Beta, 9k gold behind Homebois. That's, oh, man, I don't know how many core items that is, but Homebois just winning in every single aspect. You've got the lane control. You've got the map control. You've got so much turrets. Bigetron Beta hasn't even touched any one of Homebois' T1s. Do you think that Beta should contest for this Lord?
Definitely not. I mean, to answer the question of the items, they only completed one item in general for Bigetron Beta, so they're way behind Homebois now.
Yeah, I'm always underestimating the damage that Jusin brings, but look at Udil, 27,000 damage, 9-minute mark, Lord spawning up in 10 seconds. How do you think Beta is going to play this?
Oh man, they need to farm. They need the space to farm, but the thing is that Homebois is not giving them that space. But Bigetron Beta, I guess the winning condition right now is just to try to soak up the pressure from Homebois, and hopefully they'll be able to catch up on the leveling and also the net worth difference, because the level even is so different right now. Ama is already maximum level 15.
Homebois got the Lord slain. Beta is actually very desperate. All throughout that Lord fight, they're waiting up on that top side because they know that their wave is actually pushing into the T1. But Homebois is like, nah, I don't really care about this. Let's take that Lord. I can clear out that wave later. Now Lord marching down that top side. Homebois really amping up that tempo. Bigetron Beta is really scrambling for any single scraps that they can take. They're so far behind. That's 10k gold lead, and it's extending even more with the Lord advantage for Homebois.
Oh man, it's looking bad now for Bigetron Beta. They will be able to clear out the top lane, but in the middle, it's probably going to be hard for them. Now that Homebois who want to take something back.
The Udio is like using that pepper spray. So the lantern is like a pepper spray. Udio comes in using the lantern. Everyone's like, no, let's get the heck out of there. Okay.
Oh man, now that the Lord is distracting Bigetron Beta, look at the space given to Homebois now. But
actually, Marzi's down that bottom side, but he can do only so much. There's not a lot of minions pushing down. He can't take that turret, so Homeboi's gonna take what they can, try to pop all these explosions down the T3s. But Beta is just desperate. They are panicking. This 12k gold advantage, and Homebois, they look like they've got that in their bag. Bigetron Beta, just scrambling around like headless chickens.
Yeah, and even if we look at like the level difference right now that's shown on screen, Amal level 15, and he was at level 15 for the longest time. The closest one is Lich, and then you got pinned at level 10.
Yeah, I remember that Amal actually got level 15 on the 9th minute mark. That is how far that he's been staying ahead of Bigetron Beta. He's just farming like crazy right now. I will be excited to see the itemizations that he brings to the table, because that gold lead will translate to a lot more. Oh, as I say it, we bring it up. Cloud, what can you tell us about these itemizations?
I mean, okay, I'm just going to put out the average right now, right? Bigetron Beta, they have at least completed maybe about an average of 2 items. And if we make a comparison with Homebois, they've completed like 3, some of them even 4. Some of them like, okay, like even Amal, he's done.
Yeah, it's a desperate attempt to try to get those half builds, to try to buy as much time as possible, because Beta really needs that time to come online. We might be able to see a 30-minute game if they're able to successfully defend. But they do have that high ground advantage as well. Marzi doing his best to try to get that split push, but look at that glue. That is a thick, beefy boy that you see on Year 3. Beta, they're just trying to get as much as they can. Homeboy just taking out the jungles, taking out the lanes. They're not leaving anything to chance.
The 30-minute game, that's a big call there.
It's a big call, but Homeboy actually wants to end it early as the Lord is spawning up in 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're at like 12k gold ahead right now. They're just waiting patiently for the next Lord, and they could potentially even end this game just because of how big the gap is by the time even the Lord arrives.
I will say this though, this game is very patient, very passive. Bigetron Beta actually has this sort of like structure. When the Lord comes up, let's go down to the offside. We'll let Marzi be sort of like that bait to bring Homebois over towards that long lane. But it doesn't really matter, because Homebois, they kind of know where Bigetron Beta will be at a lot of these neutral objective fights, those big fights. Now the enhanced Lord marching down the bottom side. Bigetron Beta, will they be able to defend on this Lord push?
Oh man, this is going to be sweaty, right? None of them are at level 15. Even Lynch is still at level 14 right now. Probably by the time the Lord arrives, he's at level 15. But then again, the bigger gap is of course the itemization and the gold. But it looks like the execution will happen from Homebois now.
Very slow push down. Homebois trying to get that discipline in. T3 will get slashed down slowly but surely. And Homebois, we're trying to look for an angle. They have the conceal play going in. Fire slash onto Cerusi. Where did he go? Vanilla Fury, last-ditch effort to get that defense, but the throne will be the main focus. And Homebois know, wait, they don't have any minions, but they want to go for it. Minions marching in.
They can.
They want to end this right here, right
And
now.
it goes.
Homebois, they're taking it home. Once again, Beta, stay down.
Man, oh my, it is Homebois with an absolutely convincing win against Bigetron Beta. Total control from the first minute to the final moment. This is Homebois not giving up on their slot to the playoffs.
Dominant was an understatement, Cloud. Oh man. Man, oh man. Am I excited to bring back Gideon to see how he thinks about this entire matchup, entire series, so to say.
I mean, if we're talking about just this game, I think that Bigetron Beta definitely submitted down to the Homebois. Like, what was that early game coming in from them? It didn't look good. They definitely got bored a couple of times, and then by the time they actually decided to regroup, it was way too late. A 12k gold lead, like 11 minutes into that game, there's no way you come back from that.
Yeah, Udil, I want to just give props to Udil. He was just putting himself as the forefront, usually as the mage or as the mid laner, and you're very, very squishy. You're supposed to stay back, to stay behind. This changes the strategies and the compositions quite a bit because you're always trying to use that lantern just as sort of like a pepper spray. But I want to know what the players think, honestly.
I'll answer you in just a little bit, but let's throw it over to Rose to talk to Homebois. Thanks, Miss Rose. Amal gonna be the MVP of this game on his Nolan 6-0-2 with a 1,030 GPM.
That's 4 digits right here. This guy's making bank.
He's making money moves, dude. He's making all the moves in the world. But let's look at these highlights because honestly, this game coming in from BTRB, to me, I would say it's very disappointing, right? Because a lot of this just boils down to how the mid trio was supposed to play together, and unfortunately, it just wasn't Suruzi's and Naksu's day.
You know, I also want to give a shout out to Imal as well. Early on, I mentioned about, other teammates need to start stepping it up. You can't only depend on Udil and Nets, and glad to see a player like Imal really stepping up in this game. But I want to summarize this round as I kind of had the feeling that Bigetron Beta had the we're done moment. Because there were a lot of early mistakes, right? Like during the laning phase, the Minotaur used the Minotaur
flicker,
Fury for nothing, and it was like I had a lot of questions that they were immediately punished, and they just snowball out of control.
And honestly, after that play, it felt like Bigetron Beta basically gave up.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. In 2 games in a row, getting first blood down the mid side, that speaks volumes to how much difference Homebois' draft, or basically their synergy, brought to the table this time around.
I mean, not only their synergy, I mean, a couple of interactions that I do want to talk about is the fact that Zushin as well as Arlet, as soon as you pick somebody up, you already have a demonic mark, and then when you throw them away, you also get a demonic mark as well. So that's 2 marks that you can trigger off of, and that's how that first initial first blood came through onto Naksu's side. And I think it's one of those things that most people are just like not thinking about actively. All you're thinking about is like trying to clear the wave. Even Naksu decided to take Concussive Blast to do so, and because of that mistake, it really allowed Homebois to take full control over the mid lane. Even the lead spilling into Suruzi and even Lynch.
And speaking about Lynch, even though they lost, the only 2 kills that they got is through Lynch. Dude, I am admitting right now, I am a Lynch fanboy. Sign me up for his fan club.
Yeah, it was actually a tough game because there wasn't much that Lynch could do. Because being a Roger, you need to make sure that your enemies are whittled down to maybe a quarter of their health before you actually jump in. But it's so difficult. Look at what Yethree is building. You've got the Blade armor, you've got the Dom Ice, you've got the Radiant armor. That is basically a thick, beefy boy down on Yethree. I think he's building the Immortality at the last slot as well. So this is going to be super hard to break down. He's always at the front line. Not to mention, Udil is actually building running. Actually, all he's got is the Clock of Destiny. He didn't go for the Blood Wings this time around, so that's a risky move. But when you're that far ahead, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. I mean, even though it's like a 2 to 14 game, teamfighter participation for Udil is only 50%, Mal 71%, and even Nets at 50%. So Udil and Nets, basically 50% of these fights they were involved with. They were just interchanging with each other.
Well, to be honest though, Homeboys only needed any two members to take down those kills. So you don't really need like a full-on 5-on-5 team fight to be able to take anyone out. Did you see that last play? He got a final slash into Sarusi, and he just, with a snap, he just disappeared.
Yeah, and at some point, like, it scales so much out of control, especially for Ima. He was like at level 15, and everyone is like down there at level 13, level 9 even. So even though if it's him alone, he could have gotten like 3-4 kills just by himself.
Hey man, maybe it's just an homage to Chibi, because Chibi is the only other jungler in MPL MY that I know that can reach those type of numbers here. So it's a great showing coming in from this new lineup from the Homeboys as they're slowly come together as a team. But I think that BTRB here definitely got to work on their mental. Because look at this graph, man.
Oh,
It's
man,
just
it's beautiful.
Man, it's touching the edge.
Yeah,
It's
GPM
touching the edge at the bottom.
Let's just look at the GPM, because the EXP doesn't really matter because everyone's got level 15 by that time. So the EXP doesn't really matter. The gold lead is just so steady. You can be able to slide out of that.
I mean, look at the bottom number, 16,000 gold, and it's like almost touching it as well. They were
Dude,
at
everything is just
15,000.
Oh, 16,000?
Yeah, we're not keeping
Holy!
we're not capping it at 10,000.
And look at all the team fights that happens. All red just won every single team fight.
Yeah,
and I think that one blue is just the Lynch got those 2 lucky kills.
And production is like sweating. It's like, can you not go any further down? We don't want to adjust the graphics.
Yep. It's tough. It's a really, really dominating match coming in from the side of the Homeboys here, but